Hey beloved, welcome to today's episode with Faith with Timster. I'm so excited about this episode because it's going to be a Bible study where I'm going to be interacting with my special guest. It's going to be very, very interactive and fun. We're going to be dissecting the real housewives of Haran. Yes, you heard it right. The real housewives of Haran. I have a very special guest with me, and it's no other person than my beloved sister, my twin sister, Bukala.
Hi guys.
Yeah, we're just gonna be studying the book of Genesis chapter 29 to 30, and I know the story is very popular. You know, the story of how Jacob wanted to get married to Rachel, but he was deceived and was giving Leah, so he had to walk again for several years before he could get to Rachel's infertility journey, and how like Leah was just giving birth left, right, center, and how they were giving Jacob their mates to like produce children for them, and just see what happens when we have love triangle, sister drama, and destiny all colliding at the center of Jacob. Yeah. So let's just get into this fun session. I'm super excited. Lady B, are you excited?
Yes, I am.
Oh my God. So we're just gonna start with Genesis chapter 29. So we're gonna be reading from the NLT version, and I can read. So the heading of this part, we're going to be reading from verse 14b sort of up until like the end. Yeah, before we go to Genesis chapter 30. Okay, so Jacob marries Leah and Rachel. You guys listen, this is very interesting. After Jacob had stayed with Laban for about a month, Laban said to him, "You shouldn't work for me without pay just because we are relatives. Tell me how much your wages should be." Now Laban had two daughters. The older daughter was named Leah, and the younger one was Rachel. There was no sparkle in Leah's eyes, but Rachel had a beautiful figure and a lovely face. Since Jacob was in love with Rachel, he told her father, "I will work for you for 7 years if you give me Rachel, your younger daughter, as my wife." "Agreed," Laban replied. "I would rather give her to you than to anyone else. Stay and work with me." So Jacob worked 7 years to pay for Rachel, but his love for her was so strong that it seemed to him but a few days. Finally, the time came for him to marry her. "I have fulfilled my agreement," Jacob said to Laban. "Now give me my wife so I can sleep with her." So Laban invited everyone in the neighborhood and prepared a wedding feast. But that night, when it was dark, Laban took Leah to Jacob and he slept with her. Laban had given Leah a servant, Zilpah, to be her maid. But when Jacob woke up in the morning, it was Leah. "What have you done to me?" Jacob raged at Laban. "I worked 7 years for Rachel. Why have you tricked me?" So yeah, before we continue with verse 26, just imagine like we have a guest, or like this man come work for our father, and both of us are married. And the person now says he wants to marry you. I feel like as the firstborn, I'm going to feel some way.
But if you don't like the person, why would you feel some way? Like, I mean, yes, you might feel a type of way because of like the last one is getting married before you. But why would you want to be with that man when you don't like the man?
They didn't specify if Leah liked the man or not. They just said Jacob wanted Rachel, the younger sister. But I'm just saying, if I were Leah, right, as the older daughter, and I'll just be like, I'm not going to like, want to be like a pick me and be like, oh, this guy must marry me. But I just feel like normal. I feel like as humans, it's normal to just feel like, oh my God, my younger sister is getting married. But I would be very excited for you. In verse 17, there was no sparkle in Leah's eyes, but Rachel had a beautiful figure and a lovely face. I really don't know. So does that mean, I feel like this also points to the fact that as a lady, we have to be prim and proper. We have to carry ourselves in a certain way. But I guess maybe Rachel, my younger sister, maybe was like all like beautiful, had a beautiful figure, and maybe, I don't know.
But the Bible never said Leah didn't have a beautiful figure. The Bible only said she didn't have a sparkle in her eyes. And at the end of the day, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Like, no, the Bible never said Leah was ugly. Maybe she just wasn't Jacob's type. So technically, somebody would have found Leah definitely attractive. Maybe she just wasn't the woman for Jacob, that's all. Because they said like she didn't have a sparkle. Maybe she was just like tired, or maybe she was just like hopeful that, oh, when we should marry one day, and like I don't know, but like the Bible didn't necessarily say she was ugly. So I don't know why. I've been hearing people think, oh, Leah was ugly. People have this opinion that, oh, Leah is ugly. Me personally, I don't think Leah was ugly. Maybe she was beautiful in her own way, or she just didn't fit like the beauty standard for Jacob. Because at the end of the day, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
I get your point, but if you were like Rachel, how would you feel for your older sister?
We also don't know if Leah had a say in what her father did.
Like, you feel like Leah manipulated what?
No, I said we also don't know if Leah had a say in what her father did. You know, there are some cultures where you cannot question your dad. Whatever your dad says, it is final. Like, some women are just giving out of marriage. Like, some of them don't even know who their husband is going to be. They just like cover their face, like dress them up real nice, and just hand them over to a man they've never met in their life before. So
what if Leah actually went to go plan with Laban so that they could do that swap?
I don't think we should be what if. It is not in the Bible. Don't insinuate things. There's room for speculation, but it's not in the Bible. So there might be what if, but we don't know if that's what actually happened.
So your conclusion from this part, you feel like there was nothing wrong with what Jacob did?
I never said there was nothing wrong with what... I never said there was nothing wrong with what Laban did. I don't think Jacob did anything wrong, because he said he was going to work for 7 years for Rachel, and he did meet his own end of the bargain. Laban just didn't meet his. I feel Jacob has every right to be angry, because they had an agreement before he started working, and he did not meet up the end. Just like, oh, like you and your boss like agree on like a salary, then you finish working and it gives you like half your pay. Wouldn't you be mad? Exactly, you'll be very angry. So I don't think Jacob, like, even if Leah was the most beautiful woman, as long as that's not the person Jacob wanted, then he obviously is going to be angry.
He had every right to be angry.
He had every right to be angry. And I think Laban was very mischievous with what he did. Yeah.
So if you were Leah, right, and your dad, Laban, literally dragged you to Jacob's room in the night and swapped you for Rachel, why didn't you fight? Why did you agree?
You know, like, we don't know how the culture was back then. Like, even till now, like, some people's cultures like differ. Like, some women have like a say, like, I don't want to marry that man. Like, that man isn't for me. So women don't have a say, like, oh, how dare you like question the man of the house? Oh, is your father is the head of the house? Like, why are you talking back? Or you don't even know if, like, I don't know. Like, we don't actually know what happened. All we know was that Laban switched Rachel with Leah. The Bible doesn't say, oh, Leah went behind Rachel's back to like convince Laban that, oh, put me there instead of Rachel. So like, we don't know. You don't even know if Leah is a victim of her father.
How is Leah a victim?
You don't know what her father told her.
I mean, like, maybe he manipulated her or something, right? Okay, let's just read verse 26. You know, when you were explaining, right, you were saying a lot of things about culture, custom. So I feel like verse 26 will help us. So verse 26, it's not our custom here to marry off a younger daughter ahead of the firstborn. So that was their culture. Laban replied, but wait until the bridal week is over, then we will give you Rachel too, provided you promise to work another 7 years for me. So Jacob agreed to work 7 more years. A week after Jacob had married Leah, Laban gave him Rachel too. Laban gave Rachel a servant to be her maid. So Jacob slept with Rachel too, and he loved her much more than Leah. He then stayed and worked for Laban the additional 7 years. Oh my God. Jacob must have really loved Rachel. First of all, I just want to point out that, you see, they had a custom. You don't marry off the younger daughter ahead of the firstborn. And I think, I don't know how true it is now, but I think a while back, several years ago, I think there are some families, I think some people will still be doing it. Like, if your firstborn, or if like maybe the first daughter is not married, like the younger one cannot marry. As a firstborn, I don't necessarily think it is right, but sometimes life is not fair. You just have to move on. But you cannot say because you do not find a husband to marry, you now be holding your sister. But there would also be a part of me that would want to be like, oh my God, my younger sister is married and I'm not married. But not that I'm not wishing her well, but if only me too had gotten married. But I'll definitely like cheer my sister on and like go to your husband's house. At the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen. But see, Jacob really loved Rachel for him to have said that he would work an additional 7 years. If we remember earlier when we were reading, he said when he was working the first 7 years, he said that his love for Rachel was so strong that the 7 years looks like a few days to him. So when this happened, when this manipulation happened. He agreed to work for another 7 years. And can you imagine when Laban gave Rachel to Jacob, right? When he slept with her, he loved her much more. So like that Leah own, the father thought he was trying to like help his daughter, like his firstborn, like, you know, he was like rooting for her. But in the end, it just caused like this family rivalry that like we're gonna see. Jacob's love, like his heart, like you said, beauty lies in the eye of the beholder. His love, his heart has always been where like Rachel was or is, you know. So it was very obvious because when he slept with her, he loved her much more than he loved Leah. And he even like stayed to work for Laban an additional 7 years. So what do you have to say about like this whole drama? We just finished the first part of 29.
Women, if he wanted to, he would. Jacob literally worked 14 years for a woman.
If he wanted to, he would.
You guys, stop receiving the bare minimum. Remember, if you are trying to think, oh, is it doing enough for me? Oh, is it doing enough for me? Remember, Jacob worked 14 years for free, no salary, no money. Rachel was the wage. Women, you are the price. You are the price. Rachel was the price. Rachel was like his pay for working for 7 years. And you see, he didn't even complain. He was willing to go another 7 years.
And the first 7 years looked like a few days.
So if he wanted to, he would. If you are thinking too much, remember Jacob and Rachel.
14 good years.
14 good
But like,
years.
do you think any man will be patient in this 2025?
That is, if the person is not patient for you, then maybe it's just not meant to be. You should be patient. God, if God is patient with you, why can't you be patient with other people? Praise the Lord.
So what do you think about the whole custom thingy about you cannot marry off the younger daughter before the firstborn?
I mean, to be honest, it's kind of unfair to like the younger sibling, but at the end of the day, like that's like their culture and their family like been living with it for years. So we cannot like compare our time with their time, because we cannot compare this time with the older set time. Talk less of like way back, all the way before Jesus came. So maybe like their tradition was working out for them and it brought like peace to them. So like that's all I can say. Well, personally, I think it's going to be like unfair to the younger sibling, because at the end of the day, like, what if they found someone they loved and, oh no, I cannot marry this person because like older sister doesn't have a man? Then I mean, even as like if you really like love your sister, like you said, like I think you also be patient with your sister. Like as long as you can see that your sister is also like proactive, looking for somebody, like trying to help you. But then you cannot rush love, because if you rush love, like it's not going to work out at the end of the day. So like I really can't say. Maybe it worked for them, then that's fine for them, you know. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so chapter 29, we have verse 31 to 35. So do you want to read it for us?
Yeah. When the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, he enabled her to have children, but Rachel could not conceive. So Leah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Reuben, for she said, the Lord has noticed my misery, and now my husband will love me. She soon became pregnant again and gave birth to another son. She named him Simeon, for she said, the Lord heard that I was unloved and has given me another son. Then she became pregnant again and gave birth to another son. He was named Levi, for she said, surely this time my husband will feel affection for me, since I have given him 3 sons. Once again, Leah became pregnant and gave birth to another son. She named him Judah, for she said, now I will praise the Lord. And then she stopped having children.
Wow. This thing is still happening. Some people use children to tie a man down, but as we read in the subsequent verses, you will see that Kole work, no matter how hard you try. That's what I think, because she literally gave birth to one, Reuben, Simon, Levi, Judah, and all of this. You could hear her statements. The first one, now after she gave birth to Reuben, the Lord noticed my misery and my husband will love me. The second one, the Lord heard me, I was so unloved and has given me another son. She was feeling like, oh, because of the fact that Jacob did not love her as much as he loved Rachel, the children were compensation for that, whatever it is that was happening. Oh my God, all of this rivalry is just a lot. When she gave birth to Levi, she said, surely this time my husband will feel affection for me, since I have given him 3 sons. Now I'll praise the Lord. She said that when she gave birth to Judah. So she was happy that she was giving birth to win her husband's heart. But in the end, I don't think it worked for Jacob. But I also have a thing about like that verse 31. When the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, he enabled her to have children, but Rachel could not conceive.
At the end of the day, might no balance.
But God is unquestionable, right?
Exactly, because at the end of the day, she still had a child.
She still had children.
Yes, and she was loved.
But like it took years.
Yes, but at least she was loved. Like she was definitely loved. Like I know, yes, children are a gift from God, but just imagine you staying, because I think God gave Leah those children to God gave Leah those children to comfort her, because God knew that she was miserable. Rachel wasn't miserable in the house. Maybe she was miserable that Leah keeps having children, but just imagine, like, someone like your husband still loves you even though you don't have children. Just imagine the pride in your heart, like you don't have to put in too much work and you're still loved.
And Leah had to go through all of those. And she had to be giving birth to prove a point.
She still wasn't loved as she wanted to be loved. So God gave Leah those children for her to like feel love, or to experience love, or to just like ease with that misery that she was facing in her house. Just imagine, God saw you don't know, Leah must have been going through a lot. God literally saw her like, oh yeah, you definitely need kids, and not even kids, sons. You know the way they glorify like the male child in the house. 4 good sons.
You guys, this life no balance.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, like Rachel must have felt like a type of way, like seeing her own sister give birth. But at the end of the day, she was definitely still feeling more loved in the house compared to Leah.
Yeah. So the first part, we cannot question God why after he saw that Leah was being unloved, he enabled her to have children, but Rachel could not conceive. Okay. So you feel like there was kind of like a balance. One was loved
by her husband,
but had to wait for a while. Leah was unloved but had like
kids.
So you feel like that was kind of like a fair bargain. Why couldn't they have all this life?
But Rachel went ahead to have kids. Maybe God just didn't want her to have kids at that time. Maybe there was character development that was going on in the place.
Maybe she couldn't handle children at that point.
We don't know. Like at the end of the day, like God knows best. Like God knows best. It's not even like, oh, Rachel offended God or anything. Like, and the Bible didn't say she was barren. She just didn't conceive at that time. So like, there are some things that might be going on in people's lives that, oh, God knows that, okay, maybe it's not your time for you to have this much responsibility at the end of the day. And let's also not forget, Rachel was the younger sibling. Maybe she was still going through like a young girl phase, and God was like, oh, like, we don't know. Like,
I'm still young.
Yes, exactly. Like, maybe, even though she was young, she obviously wanted to have kids, because she saw that her sister was having kids, that she definitely wanted to have kids. But like, God's time is the best, not like our own time. Like, that's why, you see, that's how people will be seeing other like people's lives. I'm like, oh my God, this person's achieving something. So like, where am I? Like, because you don't have it yet doesn't mean you would never have it. It's just not your time yet. Just keep on like believing in God, and like one day, like something like God will come through. Exactly.
That is why we should flee from comparing ourselves, because you never know the full story of the other person's journey.
Exactly.
Clock it. So you guys, this clock it thing, when my sister is talking to her friends, I always hear it and all of that. So apparently, I just felt it was like a cool phrase. So anytime my sister says something and I'm like, clock it, she'll be like, oh my God, it doesn't sound good. I think she even thought that you do like this clock it. She was like, I don't even have the attitude, like I didn't have the right mannerism to, express that clock it thing. And I've been misusing it since then. Anyways, don't bring a new phrase to me, because I'm going to misuse it. I would misuse it. I would squeeze everything till I maximize and utilize it. So let's read Genesis chapter 30, verse 1 to 10. When Rachel saw that she wasn't having any children for Jacob, she became jealous of her sister. She pleaded with Jacob, give me children or I will die. Then Jacob became furious with Rachel. Am I God? He asked. He is the one who has kept you from having children. Then Rachel told him, take my maid Bilhah and sleep with her. She will bear children for me, and through her I can have a family too. So Rachel gave her servants Bilhah to Jacob as a wife, and he slept with her. Bilhah became pregnant and presented him with a son. And Rachel named him Dan, for she said, God has vindicated me. He has heard my request and given me a son. Then Bilhah became pregnant again and gave Jacob another son. Rachel named him Naphtali, for she said, I have struggled hard with my sister and I am winning. Meanwhile, Leah realized she wasn't getting pregnant anymore, so she took her servant Zilpah and gave her to Jacob as a wife. Soon Zilpah presented him with a son. Leah named him Gad, for she said, how fortunate I am. Then Zilpah gave Jacob a second son. And Leah named him Asher, for she said, what joy is mine, now the other women will celebrate with me.
First of all, I think they're taking things into their own hands. They weren't patient with God, and that just shows that Rachel just wanted children out of jealousy, not because she actually needed one. Just
Because which one is the one you're naming your son? I struggled with my sister and I am winning.
Just imagine that was your name. Like, that was the definition of the
I struggled with my sister. If I get that name, I'm going to change it.
Yeah, this was too messy. And why is Jacob also accepting those maids to sleep with them?
I feel like this is where generational pattern comes in. They allowed what happened to their forefathers. You know, see what Sarah did when she couldn't give birth.
True.
She told Abraham to sleep with Hagar and he gave birth to Ishmael. This is what is happening again. This is literally what is happening. Like,
so
they
I just find it weird that he keeps on like accepting the women his wives are bringing for him.
Exactly.
Like,
and you're like somebody, you see, you're saying that Jacob loved Rachel. I'm not disputing that fact. Rachel went to meet Jacob, give me children or I'll die. Then Jacob became furious and was like, am I God? So they were already like, I feel like they got to that point where the thing had already gotten here and they were pushing blames. And that one pushed, what's it called, Rachel to God, that go and meet God, your father. That is the one that is keeping you from having children. Can we blame God at this point? Was it really the one that was keeping Rachel from having children? Then that one passed, so that part. Rachel now went to tell Jacob, take my maid, Bilhah, Dan. That one did not even stop there, like, okay, at least I have one child, like, you know, because, you know, they own their maid, so that was kind of indirectly Rachel's son, even though he wasn't her direct son. Then that one, so now went to I give birth again. That one was enjoying her master. He went to give birth again, Naphtali. Can you imagine? Then Leah, you already have Reuben, Simon, Levi, Judah. Because your sister gave birth to Dan and Naphtali, you now said you were not having children, you were not satisfied. I feel like all of them had dysfunctional issues. You now carried your Zilpah maid to go and give to your husband, and he now gave birth to Gad and Asher. Like, what kind of thing is that? You already have 4 sons.
I don't think they were all the children. I think it felt like a competition to them. Like, Leah first gave birth. Rachel saw Leah giving birth. She was jealous. She went and gave her maid to Jacob. Leah saw that Rachel's maid were like having children for Jacob. She was like, oh yeah, okay, you're doing this, means I'm going to do this. I don't think it was more of like, oh, like, it's not like, oh, they wanted children. It's just like they're just in a competition with each other. Oh, this person is doing this, I want to do this. Oh, this person is doing this, I want to do this. Like, that's literally what happened. Because she don't want to that Leah did not even think of giving her maid to like Jacob in the first time. It's just because she saw Rachel doing it, then she went ahead to do it.
But that's very sad though. That's very, very messy. Like, in all of this, how was Laban feeling? Or him, he did not care. Like, Jacob was making him wealthy. He did not care about his daughter's feelings, because they must have been really going through a lot, like living in the same house, and they were having all of these issues. Why was Jacob not responsible? Why was it like anything his wife said, he did it?
We don't know the dynamics of marriage those days. Like, see, Jacob had like 2 wives. Now, like even as a man of God, he had 2 wives, and he was also sleeping with maids. But like now, like in this day and age, like one man is with one woman. Can you see, like, the dynamics of marriage is literally not the same thing anymore? Like, I mean, I know obviously there are still some times that like people actually like allow their husbands to sleep with people for them to have kids, you know. But like for somebody that you claim that you love, you would not even want to. You would not even want to. You won't suggest, oh, maybe you won't do surrogacy. Not that you go and sleep with the person. You will suggest surrogacy instead, or to go and adopt. You get. But like, we actually don't know the dynamics. Yes, I feel like Jesus came and he kind of like changed like everything for us. Like, do you get? Like, but those days it was different for them, so we don't know. But I feel it was definitely messy. Like, even if they're talking to each other, they're definitely saying something. Like, I'm sure the maids must have been hearing tea.
Oh my God!
The tea must have been good.
And the maids that they chose were definitely like feeling special.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Especially the one for Rachel.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my God! Because like obviously they all knew that Jacob liked Rachel more.
Yeah.
So she must have been feeling special. That, oh my God, Jacob is gonna love my son Dan and Naphtali.
Exactly.
And even Naphtali's name now capped it all. I was fighting with my sister, but I was struggling with my sister, and I'm winning.
And I also think like those days, like the maid children, they were actually treated right. Like they were actually treated like, they're not treated like, oh, this is the maid child. They're treated like, oh, this is Jacob and Rachel's child. So they were definitely well taken care of.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, definitely. But I obviously know that it was having messy. Ooh, the tea must have been juicy. Ooh. Yeah, well, obviously, like there was definitely like side comments.
God, that big.
But actually, I mean, it must have been bad. But I also think that they also kind of felt safe because we did not hear anybody fighting with anybody. They are just going at it with Jacob. They
Right,
didn't
so
go at
just
it.
giving birth.
Yes,
Giving birth.
exactly. It was more like, the commission was more with children.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You can read 14 to 22 for us.
One day during the wheat harvest, Reuben found some mandrakes growing in the field and brought them to his mother, Leah. Rachel begged Leah, please give me some of your son's mandrakes. But Leah angrily replied, wasn't it enough that you stole my husband? Your husband?
Oh my God, you can see that she already had the entitlement.
You don't know. Leah and Rachel weren't there when Laban and Jacob were making the agreements.
That's true. So they didn't know.
So what if Laban went to tell Leah that, okay, so you're going to be the one to marry?
That is true because they weren't there. So the agreement was between Jacob and Laban.
Because the entitlement is really there, like
Rachel stole her husband.
Exactly. Because she said stole my husband.
Oh my God.
She said stole. Now, will you steal my son's mandrakes too? Rachel answered, I will let Jacob sleep with you tonight if you get me some mandrakes.
God, I beg.
So that evening, as Jacob was coming home from the fields, Leah went out to meet him. You must come and sleep with me tonight, she said. I have paid for you with some mandrakes that my son found.
God, I beg.
I have paid for you with... Wow. So that night, he slept with Leah and God answered Leah's prayer. She became pregnant again and gave birth to a fifth son for Jacob. She named him Saka, for she said, God has rewarded me for giving my servant to my husband as a wife. But did God actually reward her for giving her servant? How do you think God has rewarded you with a child because you gave your servant as a wife to your husband?
Like, how does it correlate?
I think it's also the same way people take the word of God today and just kind of like spin it and make it seem like, this is what God said. Or like you hear like people going out and achieving some things when we all know that it wasn't achieved the right way and they're like giving thanks to God. Because at the end of the day, good things will still happen to people, regardless of you follow God or not. Good things will still happen to people.
Yeah, that's true.
Good things will still happen to like God is not withholding anything from anybody because you're not children of God. As long as you just follow like the principle of life, like we all know that if you work hard you would make money. Like if you know the right people, you'll be able to like achieve some certain things. Obviously, like the grace of God like makes us, put us in front. Like when the grace of God is upon you, like that's when you now stand out among like every other person. You get like you stand out more. But like just like in a normal day of life, like if you are good, someone will notice you. Do you get? So like all these things might be happening not because God like that was like your answer your prayer. Maybe it just happened because at the end of the day, if you sleep with somebody normally, you expect to have a child.
Yeah. So which one is the one that God rewarded you? God, I beg. She's just making everything about herself.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, like for someone that's married to a husband and everybody knows your husband likes exactly. Like how would you feel?
Prefers your younger sister.
Exactly. So like how would you feel?
You'll be bitter.
Exactly. So like I get where she's coming from, but at the end of the day, like I think we should stop giving credit to God for some things. God definitely did not sign up for.
Just like you gotta do Yahoo, then
and you're telling
God rewarded you with wisdom.
Exactly. God did not make anybody dumb. Do you get? Like God gave everybody each their own thing. So like because you would make it whether you follow God or not. Do you get? But like following God is just more of like building yourself up, like you standing out more, like you distinguishing yourself from the crowd. Do you get? So yeah. Then Leah became pregnant again and gave birth to a sixth son for Jacob. Wow. She named him Zebulun, for she said, God has given me a good reward. Now my husband will treat me with respect, so I have given him 6 sons. Later, she gave birth to a daughter and named her Dinah. Then God remembered Rachel's plight and answered her prayers by enabling her to have children. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son. God has removed my disgrace, she said, and she named him Joseph, for she said, may the Lord add yet another son to my family.
Leah, though, she still went ahead to give birth to another son because she's still like, you've not learned your lesson. After 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up you went up until 6, still trying to gain respect from your husband.
The respect was not found.
I mean, if they had given her like the opportunity to give birth to like 100, she will still be looking for the respect.
Yeah,
because
and
she was really craving for it.
so I hope this Leah and Rachel situation lets you know that if he wanted to, he would. And you don't need to have kids for a man to like you. If he doesn't like you before the kids, he's not going to like you after the kids. Don't let anybody tell you that. A male child, a female child, none of that is going to make a man love you more than he does. Yeah. So don't be like look at the life of Leah. She gave birth to how many sons? 6 sons. 6. She like even gave her maid to her husband.
That's 8 plus 1 daughter, Dara.
Exactly, and she still wasn't loved. So I just pray that like whenever we are like trying to question things in our lives, just look at the life of Leah. There is nothing you want to do that would make a man. If he doesn't like you, please pack your bags and leave. There is somebody out there for you.
Is it easy? Like, what if like you've given birth to like 1 child and you'll be feeling like, oh, like will I find somebody? Like, I've given birth to this child.
So would you rather be in that place and be miserable all your life than for you to live and work on yourself?
Right.
Because if you keep staying, I mean, Leah had no choice, like it was those days. Like I think now, like times have changed, like things are different now. You can pack your bags and leave, because you'll just be staying there and you'll be miserable. Like, and your child will know. Like your child will know. I think people also keep forgetting that children are very attentive. Like they are very attentive. They literally know everything that is going on. So like at the end of the day, like you will have to put yourself first and put your child first. Don't put that man first. And men too also sometimes, like I think it goes both ways too. Do you get? Yeah, because some men can be treated too in bad ways, like not just women. So also put yourself first and not the woman first. But if your wife loves you, I know she loves you, put her first. Thank you. But we're talking about when we all know that, okay, this relationship isn't good. You feel miserable. Like, you feel like, oh, you're giving in your best, but then your partner, yes. And then let me put partner, so everybody know that, okay, it's related to everybody. So like, and then your partner is not even giving you half of the energy you are putting in. Kindly leave. Pack your bags. Thank you. Yeah. Because I promise you'll just be miserable. Nothing you do, I promise,
would satisfy that person. If he didn't do.
Exactly. Like for example, like see, okay, I'm going to use men. Like giving the woman more money will not make her like you more. You will be surprised the person she would go and leave you for. Probably somebody that is broker than you. Just so you know, giving her more money,
some women still for money. What do you think?
That's what I'm saying. If you are miserable, she make like. Leah was miserable. She was so miserable that she felt that having more children was going to
gain her husband's love and respect.
She thought giving her servants to her husband would give her more love and respect. She didn't get any. So I'm saying the fact that I'm not saying she's not putting efforts, but when you know that, oh, you're putting in efforts and you're not receiving anything in return, and you just feel like you're the only one putting in efforts, it's time for you to leave. Yes, because you just be there, you'll be miserable, you'll be thinking all the time.
Is this like relationship or marriage?
Oh, I think relationship, before we jump into marriage, because I feel relationship, I mean, people are obviously like, there are some people that are very, very good deceivers, and they will trick you, they will deceive you. Like, they are really good at that. You will get that. Like, it's not your fault if you like go through. But if that's the case, go and talk to a pastor that you trust about that, or marriage counselor or something. I'm not a marriage counselor, but you know that you're in a relationship and you are putting in energy, or you're the one always calling all the time, you're the one always checking up, you're the one always planning the date, you're the one always doing everything. When you're talking to them, you feel like they're giving you half answers, like they don't even treat, like everybody knew in this case that Jacob preferred Rachel. Everybody knew. And the fact that your friends, even people to be listening to your friends too sometimes, your friends, not all your friends are against your relationship, not all your friends are wanting your downfall.
Right?
Please listen to your
but
friends.
When you're in love, do you have, like, sometimes it's difficult.
You also need to tell God to open your eyes. Love should not be leading you in your relationship. God should be leading you in your relationship.
Right.
And God will never lead you in the wrong direction. Love should not be leading you in your marriage. God should be leading you. God should be like the person, God should be like your number one person. Your foundation should be on God. Because God knows if somebody doesn't like you. God sees the heart of men. So if if God is the person that is leading you, God will not lead you to the wrong place. God will not lead you to the wrong partner.
Yeah.
So yes, you think you love someone, you can't consult to God. God, see, the way God will open your eyes and you will see some things that love was covering for you. You will be surprised. So at the end of the day, we need to like talk to God, like go like pray about it. Like I feel people lately, like what I've noticed, people are not even like dating anymore. Like I feel they just like talk. Like they're not even like get to know each other. They just be going on dates. The date is just so look good, take nice pictures, no conversation. People are on your phone all the time, and people get married. I'm like, oh, I didn't. How would you know? You did not put in the effort to get to know the person. Like you just need to know. And always, like at the end of the day, like we are Christians, we are children of God. Like God should be like the person that should be like the center of everything. Because if God is your center, I promise you, the way God will open your eyes,
Right.
the way God will open your eyes, and if you feel the love of God yourself, you will know that that man is not for you. Because the Bible says that the man should love his wife as God loves his church. Do you know how God loves his church?
Right? He laid down his life.
Exactly. God laid down his life for people that wanted to kill him. God laid down his life for people that beat him. Jesus laid down his life for people that did not even believe in him in the first place. Jesus laid down his life for people that he knew that they will still go behind his back and talk nonsense. Exactly. So if your man doesn't love you like that, no. Thank you.
It's not allowed. We don't do that here.
As children of God, we should not take the bare minimum.
Right.
Know your worth, know your value. What has God said over your life? God said you're a princess, you're a prince. Does the man that you want to marry, does he treat you like one? Everybody saying princess treatment. Are you really receiving that princess treatment? You're the one giving that princess treatment all the time. I feel we should check in with ourselves. Pray to God to open our eyes so that we'll see things. Because if you're hoping for love to open your eyes, I'm sorry for you.
Love is going to close it. It's to close it.
Love will lead you into trap.
Oh my God. And you know, before we round up, right, there's this part that got me angry. When you jump to chapter 35, verse 16. Leaving Bethel, Jacob and his clan moved on towards Ephrath, but Rachel went into labor while they were some distance away. So, you know, when Rachel eventually got pregnant, she gave birth to Joseph, right? Yes. So she got pregnant again. So this was when they were leaving Bethel. So her labor pains became very intense. And after a very hard delivery, the midwife finally exclaimed, "Don't be afraid, you have another son." So they were more like somebody was in intense pain. You were consoling the person that don't be afraid because of the gender. Rachel was about to die, but with her last breath, she named the baby Ben-Oni, which means son of my sorrow. The baby's father, however, called him Benjamin, which means son of my right hand. So Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. Jacob set up a stone monument over Rachel's grave, and it can be seen there to this day. She was trying to conceive all this while she eventually gave birth to one. Maybe that's what God was preventing her from. Maybe, I don't know. Me, I'm just thinking out loud. Would that have been what God was preventing her from?
But God was also the one that let her have kids. Because
why is it that this person has been believing God for the fruit of the womb since she eventually gave birth to Joseph? She got pregnant again. And it was not at this point she now died during like childbirth on the day of her joy. And that midwife was there saying, somebody was in pain. The midwife was there saying, "Don't be afraid, you have a son again."
We don't know, maybe that was like a way of consoling her.
How was that a way of consoling? I get it. But like,
maybe she was trying to take her mind off.
Like, oh, so she'll be excited.
Yes, like, oh, you have a son. I don't think it necessarily had to do with the gender too. Maybe it was like, oh, maybe you should have said, oh, you have a child or something.
Or you have a daughter.
Yeah, or like, oh my gosh, like you have a new one. But we don't know.
But this is actually really sad.
Yes,
what do you think?
She died.
Wow. And she
like the competition she was doing eventually killed her.
Yeah, because I feel like she just became like bitter. All of this whole drama and rivalry just made all of them become like a shadow of themselves, and eventually led to her death. Can you imagine? He even built a monument for Rachel. What manner of love is this?
Exactly.
Anyways, I just brought us to this verse, chapter 35, because I knew that, like, I read like the entire Genesis, but I knew that, oh, Rachel like died after she gave birth to Benjamin, and it was just really sad for me.
It is well.
What do you mean by it is well?
Is it not well?
In the end, I feel like life no balance, right?
Exactly.
Wow, that was such a very interesting story that we just went through.
It was messy, so
I didn't want to use the word messy,
it was messy.
I know, but it was really interesting. And in as much as we encountered a lot of drama, I would just like to say that this story necessarily wasn't to point out the rivalry and the drama in as much as we saw a lot of messy situations. It's just to emphasize God's redemptive hand in whatever situation we find ourselves, no matter how messy that situation is. Rachel and Leah's journey wasn't an easy one, we could tell.
Yeah, it wasn't even perfect. It was very imperfect.
Very, like, from tears, jealousy, competition, manipulation. But we saw how God made everything work out for their good. Leah, the unwanted and the unloved wife, gave birth to Judah.
The lineage of Jesus.
Can you imagine? And that was where Jesus came from. And Rachel, it took time for her to like conceive, but she later gave birth to Joseph, and he was the one that later saved his brothers.
Not just his brothers, so nations too.
He saved the nations.
Because through him, God prevented the famine in Egypt.
Yes, if he had not saved his brothers, Jesus would have not even existed. So Joseph played an important role because he was able to save Judah.
Yes.
That was why Jesus was able to come through that lineage. So we can see that through it all, God makes everything work out for our good. And I would like to say that no matter how messy your story is, God doesn't cancel your purpose. Clock it. Like we all saw in Rachel's life, delay doesn't mean denial. I mean, Joseph was born. And also, no matter your role in that story that God has laid out for you, let God use it. Let God make everything work together for your good. Because through it all, when life feels like a competition, God's grace can still find you. I'm so glad we had this conversation today. Thank you so much for listening, beloved. It was an awesome conversation. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. If you enjoyed this and it resonated with you in one way or the other, please like, share, subscribe, comment, just engage in this video, and God bless you as you do. Thank you so much, Lady B. Okay, I'm so glad you graced our session today, and thank you for sharing everything.
It was a very, very nice experience, and it's really nice sharing the word of God.
Yeah, and I hope to see you in our upcoming episode. Thank you guys. Love you. Have a great week. Bye. Thank you for listening. Bye.